Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about what tapping is and what it can do for you. I have shared this with several of my clients. I've also used it for myself and for my family members. And basically, it's a tool to help you release some trapped emotions. And I've seen lots of really positive results in myself and also my clients and my family members. So hopefully this will be something that will be helpful. But I do want to mention to you, I did mention this previously, but I'm not sure if you caught it on that video. And so I want to mention that if you have a history of trauma that you haven't dealt with in the past, it could be possible that as we start to tap, that it's kind of like the floodgates get opened up and you might have a lot of overwhelming emotions. And so I just want to let you know that that is something that is a potential for happening if you have a history of trauma. And so if you do have a history of trauma, you want to make sure that you have some extra support as you do this type of practice. If you have a professional that you're working with already, then that's awesome. If you've already kind of gone through a lot of dealing with your trauma and you feel like, okay, it's mostly dealt with, I feel like I'm okay, then you should be okay. I hope you're okay. But you're also welcome to reach out to me and set up an appointment to get some individual support as we go through this, because we will be doing a lot of emotional release as we go through this program. So I'm going to use the example of the feeling of discouragement for this, and then I'll kind of take you through a tapping sequence. And I talked about resistance, and so I want to do some rounds of tapping with you on feelings or emotions related to resistance. So if I were to do this, and I change it a little bit each time, but there's not really one right way to do it either. So if you get a little confused and you're like, which way she's changing it up a little bit, this is confusing, it's really okay. You shouldn't be doing any damage. So just hang with me, and if you want to change it up a little bit to meet your needs, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay, so you start out by tapping on the karate chop point of your hand, and you would say, even though I feel discouraged, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then you use the feeling word as you tap on the top of your head, discouraged. The beginning of your eyebrows, discouraged. The end of your eyebrows, discouraged. Underneath your eyes, discouraged. Underneath your nose, discouraged. Above your chin, discouraged. An inch down from your collarbone in this soft spot, discouraged. And about 5 inches down from your armpits on your sides, discouraged. So I was showing you tapping on both sides. You can also just tap on one side, which is what I'm going to do as I take you through some more tapping, but I'm going to take off my glasses. Oh, you're all blur now. Just kidding. Okay, so even though I don't want to do this, I deeply and completely accept myself. I don't want to do this. 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 I don't want to do this because it isn't going to work. This 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 isn't going to work. I feel skeptical. 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 skeptical and doubtful, 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 doubtful. I'm skeptical and doubtful that this is going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work, and I don't want to do it. I feel skeptical and I still have some doubt. Doubt. I feel skeptical and doubtful. I feel skeptical and doubtful because things haven't worked in the past. Why should they work now? Things haven't worked in the past. Why should they work now? In fact, I also feel like a failure because things haven't worked in the past. I haven't been able to make things work in the past. Why should I make things work now? I feel like a failure. 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 And I feel discouraged. Discouraged that things haven't happened in the past like I've wanted them to. Discouraged that things haven't worked. Discouraged. 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 And even at times I felt hopeless. 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 But there's sometimes when I don't feel hopeless. There's sometimes when I think maybe it can work. I mean, what if it could work? And there are some times when I don't feel like a failure because I know in my head that I'm not a failure. And I know that there are some things that I'm actually really good at. And just because there's this one area of life that hasn't worked out for me doesn't mean that I'm a failure. And sometimes I feel like a failure, but there are other times when I feel like a rock star. There are other times when I feel like I know exactly what I'm doing. There are other times when I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. There are other times when I feel hopeful, when I feel confident, and hopeful. And there might still be a part of me that is a little doubtful or maybe a little skeptical that just wants to wait and see. Like maybe this is going to work, maybe it's not, but I'm not really sure yet. But there's also a part of me that's hopeful. And there's also a part of me that's confident that if it's up to me putting in the effort, then I've got this. There's a part of me that's confident, and there's a part of me that sometimes feels like a failure. And I guess everybody sometimes feels like a failure. But that doesn't mean I am a failure. And there are parts of me that feel really confident. Confident and hopeful. Curious, maybe not so much skeptical. Maybe I'm just more curious. I'm curious to see whether this is going to work. I'm curious to see whether I can pull this off. And I'm even excited to kind of see what happens with this. So there's still some unknowns. There's still some things that I have questions about. But I'm curious. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I'm confident. I'm motivated. I'm excited. Curious. Confident. Hopeful. Motivated. Excited. Hopeful. Confident. Curious. Motivated. Excited. Well, I realized I told you I was going to tap on one side, but then I went and tapped on both sides the whole time, but I guess that's what I'm used to. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that you can use that again if you find resistance coming up for you again later. At some other time, we're going to be tapping on different emotions that might be coming up for you regarding different topics as we kind of go through the course. But this is kind of the process that we go through. We start with one emotion and then we kind of just begin to tell a story, really. And what we want to do is we want to shift from the negative. We want to shift into the possibility and then into the positive. So I hope this has been helpful and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.